everyone, Abby here at Purple Cottage Crafts, and welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. So this is going to be a video of me sharing with you the items and kind of the process of me doing an eco dye bath. And this isn't going to be like my, it's not like a tutorial or anything. When I did my eco printing and stuff like that, I kind of filmed each step of the process, and I probably won't do that this time just because I'm doing part of it in my craft room and the other part in my house, and I don't want to, it's kind of cumbersome to carry my tripod back and forth unless I use my small handheld one. I apologize for the shadow. It is about 4:30 here in Oregon. It's a gray, drizzly day, so I apologize for that. So what I'm going to be doing is I've gathered together some vintage papers, some not vintage, some that are coffee dyed, some that aren't. I have some vintage linens, some that aren't vintage, and some that are. Different types of papers and envelopes and all kinds of fun things that I'm going to be putting into bundles, and then I'll be layering like bits of rust and other papers and laces, things I have. I mean, I have a ton of stuff over here that you can't even see off to the side, but like other book pages and you know, tags and that kind of stuff, and just kind of make like, you know, a bunch of layers. And then I will in between put like, you know, different strings and twine and things like that, and then I will, you know, put some fabric over all of them. I'm going to use a flour sack towel for these particular bundles, and then I'll kind of wrap it all up and then get ready to put it into the eco dye bath. So I will share that part with you. I'll share with you as much of the process as I can. I should have just said that in the beginning. Sorry about that. So I have some things I kind of gathered together. Like I mentioned, I have some, you know, doilies or some vintage, you know, these railroad checks or something. Yeah, pretty cool things. And then I have some tea bags that I'm going to be using in here. I had these bagged out for a different project, but I'm going to throw some in between the layers here and stuff. And then I have all kinds of things. And then I pulled together some of my rusty stuff. It's not all of it, but some of it. So I have some really rusty stuff with rust dust in here. And then these are some pipes from an old farm. I have way more than this, but I just grabbed a few out. So some of these I'm going to wrap some of the fabric around and some of the lace around it and that kind of thing. And then I have, again, this isn't all my rusty stuff, it's just the pieces I have in here. I'm still working on getting them packed fully from in my craft room. So anyway, I have like some rusty things in here. This is actually just a, it's that metal you can buy on the roll at Hobby Lobby, and I would just cut little bits of it, and I'm going to lay that in between, get some really cool prints on there. Just some different random things that I've, you know, rusted, and just kind of get some different fun shapes in between onto the papers and the fabric. And then this is a mix of rusted and not, but I have like some paper clips, more safety pins. Then I have some of these binder clips, some of those brass brad type things, some different things like that. So I'll be putting, clipping, you know, I'll be taking some of the safety pins and, you know, clipping some of the, you know, bits of fabric together, like crunch it up and kind of get that imprint, and just fun things like that. So I've done the eco bath before, but this is the first time I'm doing it on my own. So I'm really excited about giving it a try and see how I do. And then I wanted to throw in some of these old playing cards and see how they would fare in the dye bath. So I think that's kind of it. Well, let me show you the materials, I guess, real quick. So I just have a small sampling of some vintage stuff, and then this is, you know, this stuff here is not vintage. This is a flour sack towel. This is something I thrifted from a blouse or something, skirt or something. And there's like some canvas material. And then I have like let me grab this chunk of papers here. There's some different papers, like I said, some that are vintage and some that aren't. Different types of paper, different textures of paper, different sizes. I have some envelopes in there, and then I have let's see, what else can I show you? These are book and bits from the 1800s. I have a whole drawer of these. I love them. I got these in one of my orders from Red Cottage on Etsy, and just some different, you know, trims and string and things like that. And then I have then I have this. I want to, sorry if I'm shaking the tripod, I kind of use it as my an extra arm for me to hang stuff on. I have this material that I got from my friend Renelle. It's one of my birthday gifts that she gave me. And then I have some unbleached muslin I'm going to put in there too. So I will go ahead and kind of start making my bundles. I will probably film some of me doing that, probably not the whole thing because might be a little bit boring for you guys, but I'll definitely film me doing some of it. I may talk, I may not, I might put music to it. My voice is getting a little raspy. I'm not sure if I'm getting a cold or not, but so this might be very annoying for you guys to hear my voice like this. So I'll probably just put it to music, and you guys can kind of watch me assemble the bundles. And then when I go into the house to put the bundles into the dye bath that I already have kind of going, I will take my video camera in on my small tripod. It's my handheld one like this, so if it shakes a little bit, I apologize, but it's just a smaller one, and I can prop it on the counter too and show you the dye bath and me putting the bundles in and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of get myself a little bit better organized, and then I'll come back on and we'll start putting some bundles together. So I will see you guys in just a little bit. So I have my first bundle done, the stack. I showed you part of it, not the whole thing, because, you know, again, that would not be very interesting. So what I will do is I will include a photo of this from the side, because if I lift it up, all the stuff I put in is going to fall out. And that's not what I want to have happen. So let me take a picture real quick, and then I'll put it in so you can kind of see what my bundle looks like. And you can make these as big as you want, as small as you want, different size of papers. It doesn't matter. I have a variety because I like to use different size of papers for different purposes in my journals. So what I'm going to do now is I want to play around with the doing some of the safety pins and pinning some of this flour sack towel on here. I don't need to do that, but it's like for a closure or anything, but I want to, because I want to just kind of see how that's going to turn out. So, and I forgot to mention this earlier. I hope that my heater that's going, my space heater, is not too loud. That's just currently the only thing I have to heat up my room downstairs. My upstairs room has a heater in the wall, which works perfectly. We're happy about that, but I don't have one for downstairs, so hopefully it's not too loud. I'm just going to kind of poke through here, just creating more texture and you know, some mark making with the rust, things like that. So just kind of poke this one through. I'm trying to go through a couple thicker layers there with these smaller safety pins. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to go ahead and I think what I'll do is I'll fold this back on top of itself. And I think what I'll put in between here is maybe, let me see if I want to do another piece of paper and a little piece of fabric. Let's see here. Let's do another little bit of fabric and try to get a few more rusty marks on there if we can. And then just do this. And then now I'm going to, the reason I had the blue glove on is because the rusty bits that are in that sandwich bag I showed you, they're a lot more rusty, which I like. That's what I want. And they have a little bit more rust dust on them, so I was trying to keep my fingers clean if I could, but, you know, my fingers will wash. Okay, I'm just going to kind of poke some of these larger ones in here. Through the fabric there, we'll poke it here. Now I'm going to be using a variety of some different, like this is some vintage string that I thrifted a long time ago, and then a combination of that and some sari silk and, you know, strips of fabric, things like that that you can use to tie your bundles, or you can just, you know, use regular kitchen string or twine and wrap it much like I do when I do the eco dyeing. Not just me, but anybody who does that process is what I mean. Or you can just simply use fabric strips or something and just tie it like that. You don't have to do all this extra stuff, but I'm doing all of this because I want the marks on the towel. I want to see how that turns out. So I'll close the other bundles a little bit differently so I can kind of see how that looks. And I'm just going to kind of clip. I know you guys can't see too much, I'm sorry. I found that I have, and I'll probably repeat this again because I do that in other videos, but I have found in my downstairs craft room that I am standing up while I am crafting, and that is not something that I have ever done before. One, because I didn't have a table that went up and down, but then you know, but this table happens to do that, and I like it. My table upstairs does that too. And so I'm just finding myself wanting to create more as I'm standing, and it just probably because I was having some back problems and I had to go to the chiropractor. Matter of fact, my first appointment was on my birthday. I was like, oh, that's great. I'm getting so old I have to go to the chiropractor on my birthday. So I just find myself, oh, and the other reason too is because my chair that I have in here is not the best chair for this room, so I need to kind of rethink that too. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just grab this bit of sari silk here, and I don't need this much, but I'm going to leave it like it is, the length, and then I'm just going to turn my bundle, and you just wrap this up like you would a present. You can, the more of the crisscrossy that you do with the different, you know, wraps of the, I'm sorry, it's in the way, wraps of the whatever it is you're using to wrap around here, whatever material or trim or whatever, the more marks you're going to get on your paper. Sorry guys, my table is such a mess right now. I shouldn't, well, it mostly always is because I'm always working on something, but right now it's quite a bit messier. So I'm going to pull a little bit like this, and then just wrap around like that. I'm trying to keep it all. All right, now I pick up my hands here and just, you know, start just wrapping it and just doing all kinds of different, you know, things on it to get this to stay closed while it's in the dye bath. And okay, and there's that. And I don't know where my other end went, but that's, oh, here it is. So I'll put a tie on this. And what I'll probably do off camera, because it's not exciting to watch me do that, is I'll probably just go through and clip on some more of the clothespins just to kind of get some more marks on there. And I'm going to grab a length of this old twine. Looks like it's been rusted or something, but I know it's old because I bought it with, I'm at an estate sale with a bunch of other vintage linens and things of the like. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up, but yeah, you can see all the dark spots and stuff on it. I think it's really, really cool. So I use this a lot in my slow stitching projects too. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of do the same thing. Just want to create more lines and more marks on the flour sack towel. And the next one, I think what I'll do is use a bit of a vintage linen that I have and use that as the outer closure, just to kind of play around and get some different imprints and, you know, different fabrics and textiles mixed in. So, and some of these bundles I won't get done in this round of a dye bath because it's just because of where I have to do it and where I have to lay the papers and things out to dry is on my kitchen table and on the counter, and that's not very conducive with a family to have the, you know, kitchen surfaces and the table we eat at, you know, covered with this kind of stuff. My family is very patient with me and very understanding of, you know, me and all my projects and things like this, but, you know, I don't want to take advantage for sure. And the fact that my craft room is, like I mentioned, it doesn't have heat in it yet, controlled heat anyway. It gets whatever temperature it is outside is what it is in my craft room. So if it's, you know, so like if I don't have my space heater on, it would be just as cold in here as it is outside. And so it takes a long time for things to dry in here, so I usually take things in the house. So there is the first bundle. And then what I will do is I'll probably make a couple more that are half this size, just so I can have some smaller bits. And some of the papers I'm folding over because I don't know, some of these different papers and things I've cut apart are for a sticker project, which I will share once I'm done. So I wanted certain dimensions of some of the papers and things in here, but the rest of them are just going to be for just whatever kind of journals down the road. So I will do that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it for now. I'm going to go and clip on some of the clothespins like I mentioned, and then I'll come back and probably do a little bit more fast forward footage of me working on some of the smaller bundles. So I will see you guys in the next clip. Okay, so this is the first, well, it's the second bundle, but it's the first of the smaller ones. And so I just used a couple different types of fabric to cover it. So I have some linen here, and then this is a part of a vintage napkin. And then I have some of this really fun gauzy type of stuff that I wrapped around there. So now I'm going to go ahead and use, where'd I put it? Let me just kind of pull this out, and then I'm just going to take a couple lengths of the sari silk, because I have it in a couple of, well, I haven't worn a couple colors, but just the colors I want to use. So I'll just kind of do this, and then like this, and then I'll tie these together. So I just kind of wanted to show you that you know, I'm using a few different fabrics on the outside, which is something, you know, you can do too. You don't have to just use the one type of material that you have. And I'm going to take some of this lace here, and I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to do another pin here and pin this in. So I don't know if I will do any more fast bits of me working on the other bundles, because I don't want to make this video too super long. Because I'd like to do the reveal of like all the papers and stuff in the same video, but I may have to do two parts. We will see. Alright, that one's going to stick in there, but that's okay. I'm just going to kind of poke this in and get it clipped together. Do that, and then let's see if I can get another bit. Oh, I almost knocked my laptop off. Whoa, whoa, Abby. Okay, let's let's see here. Where's the end? There it is. Trying to find the end of it again. Okay, we'll pull off a little bit more this time. And then that should be it for this bundle. I might clip a few more things on here, I'm not sure, we'll see. But for the most part, I think I'm probably pretty good. So put this here. And then, so the important thing, or at least what I think is, and you know, when I've done this once before, is that, you know, you want to make sure that you're keeping your paper, you know, your papers and different things that you have inside, you know, covered with this. I mean, they're going to get wet. That's the point of this. Yes, that's the beauty of this whole process. But to keep your stuff from falling all over the place in your dye bath, I would just make sure that you have, you know, all the paper covered really well. Like there's a little bit of a hole here. I'm not concerned about that because it's tied down pretty good. So there's the second bundle. And I could probably clip a few more safety pins. The only thing I wish I had, I do have more rusty things, but they're still in totes. Like I have some really cool old square, I almost said needles, nails, and I have like some rusty parts of cans and things like that, but I can't get to them. So there's going to be a lot of safety pin and paper clip on these bundles, which is fine because it's still a really cool look. I just wish I had a little bit more variety of rusty things to use. So there's that. So that's that piece. I think I might try to, I don't know if this will actually stay in here or not. Yeah, I'm going to roll that around some fabric actually. Like, I don't have a piece right here that I want to use it on, but I'm going to save that for a different part. But anyway, so here is the second bundle, and then I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more done, and then I will see you in the house probably next. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, real quick, I wanted to show you this. I wanted to incorporate more of the rust from these pipes that I have on some of the scrap fabrics I have left. So I wanted to just roll them like this, and I thought I'd show this to you. Just in case you wanted to see how that worked. I can safety pin this closed if I want, but I want to also have more of the string that's going to be in the dye bath because that's great stuff to use on all kinds of projects. Plus it's also going to make some great marks on this fabric. And if you don't want the lines like this on yours, you can just use this, you know, just a smaller bit of string or something, or you can use a safety pin or something like that if you want to. But I like the look of these extra marks on there, so I'm just going to kind of do this, and then we'll go this way and kind of do that business with it, and then back like this. So anyway, just wanted to show that to you because I wanted to, like I said, incorporate more of those metal pipes that I have that are rusty and just lovely. So that's what I'm going to do with a couple of them. And then the ones that are a little bit smaller in size, I'm going to take some of this, which is, I got 2 big balls of this thrifted. We were still living in Florida, but I was back home in Oregon visiting our grandson and my son, and I found these at Goodwill, I think it was, and I love them because they are just great strips of cotton fabric that somebody you know, put together. So what I'm going to do is use that on some of these smaller ones. Like this one here will be about the right width, I think. Yeah, pretty close like that. So I'll just cut a length of this off and do the same process. And then on another bit of fabric, or even paper if I want to, I'll roll this other one up on there. So anyway, just wanted to show you another way you can do some mark making and whatnot on your fabric and your string, or whatever you want to close your bundle with. So there you go. Okay, so I'm holding this on my small tripod, so I'll do my best to be as still as possible. And I apologize if there's any weird color adjustments because I am in the kitchen and the light underneath the microwave is not the best. So what I have in here is my dye pot, and this is just something I thrifted for this purpose actually. And what's in there, I'll insert a picture at some point. I took a picture before it started to warm up and before all the tea and everything kind of clouded up the water. But what I have in here is, I'm using chopsticks to stir this around, is I have just a bunch of different, you know, Lipton black tea bags. I have some dried hibiscus flower bits, and then I also have this hibiscus berry, cranberry and blueberry. It's a loose tea that I got from Safeway. I put some of that in there. And then just a couple of the random tea bags that I have. And in the bottom, I have a bunch of rusty things, a bunch of those pipes that I showed you that I used earlier, and then some rusty paper clips and different bits and things like that. So what I did is I went ahead and heated this up and I turned it off, and I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the bundles. Not all of them obviously are going to fit in here, but like I said, since I was in the, making bundles, I wanted to get some ready, because these, my larger ones and stuff, and the ones I left out in my room, they can sit like this for a year if I want them to. So I'm going to go ahead and put the biggest one. Well, this is the second biggest one, but it's the biggest one that's going to be in here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of submerge that in, and I'll fiddle with it more once I'm done filming, because I don't want to burn myself, but I'm just going to kind of show you me kind of sticking it in, because I need to get my tongs that I use for crafting stuff to stick in there. So these are the pipes. I'm just going to kind of wrap around the cloth, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop those in different places. Probably like on the side, so I have more room for the bundle to, submerge in there a little bit. And then this last one here, well, not last one, but then there's this one, so I'll put those there. And I, of course, can move these around as I want to once they're in the pot. So, and the thing is, I'm not going to be too concerned if this entire bundle is not submerged all the way, because as I let this sit in here for a while, oops, sorry, it's starting to steam up on me. Sorry, guys. Let me back up a little bit. So, because as I sit in, or as I sit in it, as the bundle sits in here, as we know, the wetness, it'll wick up into the pages and stuff. So I'm not massively concerned about this not being 100% submerged, but I will get it down a lot more than this, because I just have to move the metal pipes around and stuff. But like I said, I need my tongs to do that. So I will come back on and show you once I have this in the position that I want it to be in. But I just wanted to show or film myself putting them in initially, so we could just see how that process works, and just to kind of show you what it looks like already, some of the color. So, and the longer it sits in here, the darker it gets and the better it gets. So what I'm going to do, actually I'll show you that part once I come back on. So let me get this down and I'll be back. Okay, so I have everything soaking in the dye bath. I added another smaller bundle that I had, and I'm going to let it sit in here for a little bit. I have my timer on my phone set. I'm going to come down and check in about an hour and a half. It's been in the bath now for probably a good 15 minutes or so, and we'll kind of go from there. So I probably won't film any more of this process until I take the bundles out, let them kind of dry overnight in the bundles, and then I'll film me opening up, not all of them because it'll take forever, but one of them, probably opening that one, and then one of the ones that's rolled up, and we'll kind of take a peek and see how it turned out. So there is, that is where we're at right now. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. See you in a little bit. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours, maybe a little bit over 2 hours that this stuff has been setting in there. And I'm getting ready to take the items out. I'm going to transfer them into this tin container right there. And then I'm going to set up my camera over on the counter so you guys can watch me kind of, squeeze out the excess water and stuff. So we can check that out. So I will see you in just a little bit. Okay, so there they sit for their spot for tonight. I'm going to let them just kind of hang out in that pan overnight and continue draining out of the two bundles right there, and then the pipes too, or the fabric wrapped around the pipes, I should say. And then what I'll do tomorrow is I will get my tablecloth that I use when I'm coffee dyeing paper and stuff, like when I don't bake it in the oven, so I can protect my large dining room table. And then I'll open this stuff up and lay it out and to dry, and I'll film part of that so you can see what it looks like, kind of see the reveal from the bundle. So it's going to be exciting to see how it turns out. Again, this is my first time to do this eco bath on my own. I've done it before with other people, but I'm excited to see how it's going to look, and then I can kind of experiment with, less, of the different dried flowers and herbs and things that I use, or more or less of this or that. So it'll be kind of fun to see how it's going to all turn out. So, all right, I will see you guys, well, for you in a second, but for me tomorrow. Bye. Okay, it is the next morning, and if you hear a noise in the background, I'm doing laundry because I'm downstairs. And our little mini Dotson Bella is walking on the kitchen floor, so you hear this little click, 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 click. Anyway, so the lighting is much better this morning in our kitchen, and so I wanted to show you what they look like. I'm going to be getting ready to open the bundles up and lay everything out onto the table so it can dry. I think before I do that, though, I'll wait and see, because I also want to kind of put them in the oven a little bit and kind of help speed up the drying process a little bit. I've seen it done both ways, where you put the bundles, in the oven in a pan, and then I've also seen it where the bundles are taken apart. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to do it, but we'll see. Kind of like when I, copy dye paper and stuff and do it in the oven. So if it was summertime here, I'd just lay them outside and let them, naturally dry in the air. But anyway, that's how they look so far. And then I love how the safety pins are like black. And some of them, like obviously the rust came off of them, but they're still like tarnished. And I love how that looks. So this is really cool, because now I'm going to have a variety of altered, kind of pins that I can use in future projects and stuff. So just letting those kind of dry. And then this is the paper towel that I use to kind of sop up some of the excess water. And I'm going to keep that, of course, because that's got that lovely rusty kind of dye on it. So something I learned from doing this, and that's what it's all about when you try new techniques, or, techniques you've done before, like in a group setting, but maybe this is the first time you've done it by yourself, like me, for example, with this particular process, is the loose tea, and I didn't show you guys, I'm so sorry, but this is hibiscus loose tea, cranberry and blueberry, and oops, sorry guys, and I got this from Safeway. It comes in a container, not this, I put it in this so I could see it, and so I put some of that in there, and then this is just some dried hibiscus flowers that I got off Amazon. That's what I used, and I just sprinkled most of it, just kind of dumped it into the pot with the rusty bits, which was fine. But when I went to go fish out all of this stuff, I didn't have any extra cheesecloth in the house because it's on the bundle, and I didn't have like a strainer or anything with me because I moved all of my dyeing and eco dyeing pots and all that kind of stuff out to the RV bay, where that's where they're going to be stored now. And I was kind of too lazy to go out there late last night to mess with it. So I just dumped it in there. And so when I went to rinse these off, it was kind of a pain in the patootie to get all the little bits of the dried herbs or the flowers and stuff. There's still some in there, not very much, but it was just kind of time consuming. So what I did this time, and you guys might be thinking, I would have done that in the first place, but again, learning curve for me, is these tea bags that I got from Amazon a couple years ago. And you saw me layer some of these in the bundles, but what I did is I put the different herbs and my rusty bits, like the small things like this, into a bunch of these. That way it'd be easier for me to pull them out. Now when I put this last bundle in, I'm still going to sprinkle some of the loose teas on top, but it's not going to be the quantity which it was in the first batch. So I'm going to go over to the stove, and I'm going to show you what the dye bath is looking like so far, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is what it looked like this morning. I did save the leftover dye bath liquid from last night's bath, and I'm going to save that, and I'm going to use it for, just some future dyeing, whether it be on papers or, fabrics, whatever. And so I don't know how long that kind of stuff will keep, but so I don't know. If you guys know, if you could let me know, I'll have to Google it too. I don't know if it like molds, or I don't know. I mean, yeah, I know people keep rust baths and they make it their mordant and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so what I did, as I already mentioned to you, oh, grab my chopstick here. Oh, is I just put the loose tea herbs in these bags, which is cool because when I dump these out, then I'm going to have these tea bags that are going to be colored as well, and that's going to be great to use in projects. And then I have some of these other tea bags. I didn't like the flavor of tea that it was. I love the container it's in. It's a Hanley & Sons, but I don't like the tea taste at all. And oops, so I thought instead of just, not using them, I'm going to use them in my dye pot and stuff. So And I'll show you. Oops, sorry, I almost stepped on Bella's little tail. Come on. She's not supposed to be in the kitchen, but she doesn't always listen. They look like this, and they have their little pearls inside there. It's Dragon Pearl Jasmine Tea, and but I just didn't care for the taste of it, so that's what I am using it for. And then I have my rusty bits in these bags as well. They're obviously sinking to the bottom. And then those pipes that I showed you, I have those off around the perimeter of the tub, so I have more space because that bundle's pretty big. So I'm just heating this up for a little bit. I'm not going to let it go to a boil or anything. I'm just kind of getting it warm. And it's actually at the point where I think I'm going to turn the heat off. And then what I'm going to do next is grab the bundle and set it in there, and then just let it kind of sit in there for a few hours as it cools on its own. So I will go grab the bundle and we will watch this one go into its new dye bath. So I will see you in just a moment. Abby here. So this is just a quick little insert. So I am in the process of editing the video that you're now watching, and I'm at almost 40 minutes, and I still have about 3 more clips to go where I'm actually showing you me unwrapping the bundles. So what I'm going to do is once the once the papers and pages are all dry, I took them out to my craft room and I did kind of like a slower real time with me talking, showing you each of the pages and the fabrics and everything up close. So I'm going to save that for a separate video, which I'll do the same thing for the second batch, which is technically it's the big bundle that you're looking at right now. I'm going to do a separate video for that one as well, because I'm just worried about this being way too long. So I will have 2 additional videos going up after this one. So if you want to see the papers and the fabrics once they're completely dry out of my craft room, then go ahead and watch for those videos. I will link them below once I get them uploaded. So I'm going to have to go back and edit the description box, but it'll all work out. So I just wanted to mention that to you real quick, because this video is going to end with me just showing you the papers once they were freshly unwrapped and still soaking wet on my table, and that's it. So I don't have like a formal outro like I normally do. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. All right, back to the video.